We welcome you all to the Career Pathshala, the inaugural event of Career Pathshala. Uh, the young students and the youth of the country presently undergoing the pandemic of corona. But again, this is a great opportunity for you guys to prepare for the future of India. तो आप सभी का हम आरजीपीवी और सीआईआई यंग इंडियंस की तरफ से कैरियर पाठशाला में स्वागत करते हैं एंड दिस कैरियर पाठशाला विद द ब्लेसिंग्स ऑफ आवर ऑनरेबल वाइस चांसलर Professor Sunil Kumar Gupta sir, who has been a visionary and always coming up and supporting the cause, anything which is related to the youth, not only of Madhya Pradesh but for the country. So, as a special guest, we have Professor Sunil Kumar Gupta sir and our national chair from Yuva, Mr. Dilip Krishna. We welcome you. Also, we have Geet Nagpal, our Bhopal Yuva chair, Pulkit Sharma, who is the leader in YI Bhopal, co-chair, and we also have Rahul Bhandari representing student fraternity from LNCT Bhopal. So this initiative is all about before the campus placement starts and you have lot of queries about your career, आपको किस दिशा में कैरियर बनाना है, तो ये सोच हमारे सर की रही और उन्होंने ये हमें मार्गदर्शन दिया कि हम एक ऐसा प्रोग्राम ऑर्गेनाइज करें जहां पे हम एक्सपर्ट्स ऑफ द इंडस्ट्री, पब्लिक सेक्टर्स एंड इवन डिफेंस फोर्सेस से हम लाके आपको वो गाइडेंस दें ताकि आप सही कैरियर का चुनाव कर सके और कोविड क्राइसिस के बाद जो अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटीज आ रही हैं उसको आप हार्नेस कर सके. So once again, welcome all, and taking the permission from the Honorable Vice Chancellor, we now start the inaugural event. I request Rahul to set the context from the student perspective. Rahul.
Good afternoon to all the dignitaries and to the fellow viewers. I am Rahul Bhandari, a student of LNCT Bhopal. Thank you so much, Anuj sir, for this opportunity to share my views on behalf of all the students. I would like to say that I have a lot of friends and I have noticed that every student needs guidance on employability, including myself. Soon I will be appearing for campus placements and I feel most of the students require proper mentoring, but they feel shy to reach out to people. I believe that Career Pathshala is one such platform which will solve each and every problem faced by the students and will act as a torch bearer for all the students and will help us in achieving our goals. On behalf of all the students, I wholeheartedly thank CII Bhopal chapter for putting forward such an iconic initiative for the students to attain a spark of inspiration when the world is suffering from the current pandemic. The exposure of the current company scenario, technologies, and getting skilled in them has become a basic necessity for us. So, a structured study for practical environment and projects has become very important. Also, basic knowledge in just the languages like Java might not suffice in the current scenario with technologies like blockchain and cloud dominating the IT sectors. So, we are obliged to interact with an experienced and excellent panel who will indeed bring out the best in us. Once again, I would like to thank CII Bhopal chapter for organizing Career Pathshala, which will give the students career direction when they need it the most. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahul. And but definitely, we all are here because for you, for the student fraternity, and we will try that in this 1 month with the support of Young Indians and RGPV, we will try to meet out to the expectation which the students have. And it is an excellent opportunity to connect with students. So maybe have the honor of having the opening remark of Career Pathshala with none other than the person who is now who has been a true educationist and a mentor for Madhya Pradesh. Sir is also a very active participant in shaping the Indian education system, and whenever I approach him, I don't find sir as to be someone who is very senior, but he's somewhere very young just because he's so interactive and easily available for students. So जो बच्चों के दिल की धड़कन है हमारे ऑनरेबल वाइस चांसलर सर knows it all, and in his able leadership, even in the COVID crisis, Madhya Pradesh and RGPV has added a lot of feathers to their cap. So without taking any moment, for the blessings of Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, जो मेरे भी गुरु हैं, I request Sir for the opening remark and blessings for the students, Sir.
Dear Dilip Krishna ji, Anuj ji, Geet Nagpal ji, Rahul Bhandari, and Pulkit Sharma ji. First, I welcome you all on behalf of RGPV and my dear students. This is a great initiative by young Indians, and I have been associated with this platform thanks to Anuj Gar from last 1 or 2 years, and I am continuously seeing number of activities on this banner. और ये पर्टिकुलर जो एक्टिविटी इन्होंने कैरियर पाठशाला ली है, देखिए, एज फार एज द प्रोफेशनल स्टूडेंट्स आर कंसर्न, usually they join these professional courses with a major objective to join some career or make career out of it. लेकिन जब 6 महीने निकल जाए और आपने क्लास का चेहरा नहीं देखा हो, तो शायद कुछ अलग टाइप की फीलिंग आती होगी, पता नहीं, आई डोंट नो, मतलब आई एम गेटिंग दैट काइंड ऑफ फीलिंग, बट आई डोंट नो अबाउट माय स्टूडेंट्स व्हाट इज द फीलिंग ऑफ राहुल एंड किस तरह का सोच इनकी है. Or if you have been told that in next 6 months again there is no possibility of having physical classes, तो किस तरह की फीलिंग आती है. एक फीलिंग तो मैं अपनी जो छोटी बेटी है उसकी देखता हूँ, तो वो तो कहती है कि ये चलता रहे तो बेटर है. So even that kind of feeling you may have, wherein you can say that better to have online platforms rather than having physical classes. That kind of feeling may come in your mind. But this is a different kind of challenge, and that you have to accept. Different kind of possibilities and opportunities are just waiting outside you, outside in the world, that again you have to grab them. और इसके लिए क्या करना है, and that should be the theme of this particular पाठशाला. With the changing environment, the changing challenges, what kind of skill set you require, that you have to think about. कुछ स्किल सेट तो अपने आप आपको समझ में आने लगे होंगे. One thing is that very clear that you should be very comfortable on online platforms. You should know how to handle these online platforms. Even learning online is a skill. उसको आपको सीखना पड़ेगा. You should be very comfortable how to learn on online platforms. क्योंकि otherwise what will happen, we are planning to have online classes as far as RGPV is concerned. So for next 6 months we will be having only online classes. So whatever we want to give you will be on online platform, whether this is a skill set or something else. So you have to first identify yourselves, your strengths. क्योंकि जो skill set अब required होगा, that will be altogether different from what we were seeing some time ago. Definitely, the winner is digital platform. ये बात तो true हो गई है, क्योंकि as far as if you slightly connected with the stock world, so you might have seen that RIL share has gone like anything. They have been able to gain or collect about 1 lakh crore of rupees from the different players. This is all due to their geo platform. So it means in coming time, these technologies which are connected to the communication world is going to dominate the whole world. Maybe 5G or so. So definitely this is one area wherein a lot of employment opportunities, job opportunities, and skill set are likely to come, and wherein the institutions as well as the universities should do certain efforts. But beside that, what else you can do? Definitely, when you are on the digital world, definitely then you require certain technologies which are friendly to the this online platform, because now everything is selling or services are available on online platform only. Yesterday I was there in one online store and physically, but what I seen there are a lot of the line as far as the online customers are concerned. No physical presence, but as far as the market is concerned, it is going as usual. It means you again require certain platforms which are helpful in delivering these kind of services online. So definitely new business models are going to come, wherein you will have to see different kind of new technologies, new thought process may come in, and new kind of philosophy may come in. So if you foresee them and if you can capture well in advance, your career is definitely going to be rocketed. So with that kind of objectives, we will have certain experts who will be discussing the overall scenario the business philosophy, the changing environment, new type of challenges on this particular platform. And I wish that this particular platform do the justice and everybody learns through this Pathshala. And I wish great success to this particular program. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. It's always a pleasure to have you, and आपके आशीर्वाद से we always feel motivated to do something, and you are equally a guiding force for us for doing this, taking it ahead. So, taking ahead, I would request Geet to pitch in about small about the YI and Yuva integration, and about YI Yuva Bhopal activities. And the Geet, just would like to have your few words.
Thank you, VC sir, for your golden words. A very good afternoon to you all. And on an inaugural event of this Career Pathshala, I, Geet Nagpal, Yuva YI Bhopal, welcomes you all. I feel really honored to welcome you all on this big day. And I feel really proud that YI Bhopal is doing a phenomenal job. It's all because of your all support. And
I think there is some network issue. I think there's some network issue. So we at YI Bhopal, the Yuva team is excited to run this program, and definitely this program is one of the key initiatives supported by National Yuva team. So we have our national chair, Dilip Krishna, who has always been on a call away, and he has been when I was starting this thought, I had a great I used to bother him again and again, and then a lot of key initiatives came from him. So before we bring in Dilip, we have the Wipro national chair also, who is joining us. So let me add him to the screen, and we really want to know from you, Dilip, about how the Via Yuva thing nationally is bringing this. So I formally welcome Lavanya Mambala. He is the national head for the Wipro campus hiring freshers, and also a great academician and a researcher who is also equally engaged with learning the employability gaps of the freshers. So welcome, Lavanya. And Dilip, would like to hear from you about the Yuva force. You have been the captain of the biggest brigade of CII young students. Dilip, your comments.
Thank you so much, Anuj, Dr. Anuj, respected Vice Chancellor, Professor Sunil Kumar, sir. Sir, I think your words are so. Thank you so much for those golden words, because every word of yours means a lot. Because your presence itself shows how much of importance you're giving for youth development for our nation. So thank you so much for your time and your valuable presence. Thank you so much, Dr. Anuj, for this fantastic. He says, I'm the captain of the Yuva team, but captain is nothing without a phenomenal team. I think Bhopal is a standing example for that. Thank you, Pulkit and Mr. For this for the opportunity, and thank you, Rahul, for setting the pace. So I think I'm going to spend next 5 to 10 minutes on what is YI and what is Yuva all about. As you all know, YI stands for Young Indians, which is an integral part of a prestigious organization, which is CII. CII is this year is celebrating 125th year of existence. So that is a significant achievement, so which we need to be proud about. And what is YI's vision? Is YI is a movement for Indian youth to converge, lead, co-create, and influence India's future. Why am I starting with this vision statement? I think the youth here has to underline those two important words, which is YI is a movement to influence India's future for the youth. And that is why we say, because in YI we sincerely believe, if you need to create a movement in this country, and if we have to influence the future of our country, it can be done only by the youth of our country. And that is why we call Yuva as the important stakeholder of YI. And today we have 130 institutions across the country with 30,000 plus Yuva students as members. And this year we are progressively marching towards making it 50,000 and more. And that is our core objective. So what is that we want to achieve through this Yuva? It's only three things what we want to achieve. One, through the Yuva, we want to give back to this nation a responsible youth for this nation. Second, we want to develop youth leadership for this nation. And third, we want to be the platform for the youth to be the voice of the young Indians. We want youth of our country to use YI as the platform to voice their opinion, voice their thoughts for the future of our nation. So these are the three-pronged agenda. And how do we really make it happen? One, in YI, we say, like our Honorable Vice Chancellor told, he said very nicely, what is going to make India strong is the youth leadership. Because today, access to knowledge is very easy. Everyone has got mobile phones. On a click of a button, knowledge is available. But what is the future of the corporates going to look out for is that youth who are going to come up with leadership qualities. The youth which is willing to take up responsibility. The youth which is willing to take up ownership. The youth which is willing to work as a team in the organization. And the youth which is willing to share knowledge and work inclusively. And this is what the future of the corporates are going to look for. Because today's access to knowledge is in a click of a button. So how do we develop youth leadership? And that is why YI plays a very critical role in this, because in YI we believe leadership cannot be built only through classrooms. Classrooms impart a lot of knowledge, but leadership can be built only through experience. So we create a platform for youth of our nation to develop their leadership qualities by implementing our nation building projects. We as YI, we work on 7 critical projects, which is very critical for the growth of our nation. One is Project Masum, which is on child sexual abuse. Second is on road safety. Third is on health. Fourth is on entrepreneurship. Fifth is on innovation. Sixth is on accessibility. And seventh is on climate change. And these are the 7 critical initiatives which YI works on, and we bring it to the youth of our nation, to you all, to drive these initiatives in your innovative way and make these initiatives a movement in our nation. Because unless and until if we don't address these issues, we might be growing in an economy, but our society will be bleeding. If a nation has to grow, we need to have a balance of economy and a strong society. And we are looking at the energy and the innovation of the youth to drive these initiatives. And when you go back and drive these initiatives, when you take that initiative to make these initiatives a movement, you learn strategy, you learn planning, you learn implementation, you learn execution, you learn how to become a team member, you learn how to take risk. And that is what leadership is all about. And that is how YI creates a beautiful platform for, yes, the colleges gives you knowledge, imparts knowledge. YI gives you the platform to implement that knowledge and build your leadership levels. And apart from that, what we also do is that how do we sharpen your axe? And that's why we give 2 more. We add value to the youth in 2 platforms. One, how do we develop their personality? So we give courses on power dressing, email etiquettes, communication, goal setting, time management, name the event. And most important, we also believe the leadership, we develop leadership in the youth by through our master classes, our boardroom discussions, our huddles and blue ocean dialogues, where it's a unique methodology where we get to hear the voice of your young Indians. What is the youth looking at? What is the India they are looking for? What is the nation they are looking for? And we get to hear the voice of the young Indians through these initiatives. And this is how we holistically groom our Yuva students. And that is why we take pride in saying YI is the only platform which helps you to develop your leadership. And today, when Career Pathshala is also a standing example for that, where because we don't deliver these leadership skills by we deliver this through experts, industry experts, and that's where we have leaders like Mr. Ambala sitting here, who's there to come and interact with you all and make a difference in your life. So we bring in those leaders. The proof of it is that the COVID has really, why I also changes. The proof of it is in the last 4 months, from the March to June, YI has delivered 325 learning programs for the youth of our country. 325 learning programs, which means it is 2 learning programs a day. And the learning programs are delivered by visionary leaders, to motivational speakers, to bureaucrats, to politicians, to institutions heads coming and sharing their knowledge to add value to. And that is what YI brings it to you. So my submission to you all is that YI is committed to develop that youth leadership. YI is committed to develop responsible youth for the future of our nation. And YI is committed to listen to your voice, the youth, the voice of the youth, to develop a better nation for ourselves. So my only request to you all is that to make the difference, strengthen our arms by joining YI, become the Yuvas, and second thing, demand from us. You demand and we'll make it happen. And that's my commitment, as that is our commitment from YI to all the youth here. And I wish you all the very best in this journey. Be very selfish in this whole journey. Get maximum what you can get out of this Career Pathshala to sharpen your axe and be the voice of the young Indians. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dilip. And we are all set to have the chief guest and our special guest for the day. So Dr. Anandesh Pandey sir will be joining us in any minute from now. And we also have Dr. Anupam Chokse, who has just joined in. He's the secretary of LNCT Group. And we have Lavandam. I think there's some technical issues. He's just getting into studio and trying to get in. So thank you, Dilip, for putting this agenda. And without taking any more moment, I think Anand sir has joined in. Yes, Anand sir is here. So welcome, sir. Namaskar, sir. Good afternoon. And it's really a proud privilege. We always have persistent coming for campus hiring, lot of students following the company, and who knows, the chairman of persistent would be there for the opening Pathshala of the Career Pathshala on behalf of the CII Young Indians and RGPV University. I take this privilege to welcome you, sir. I would request Honorable Vice Chancellor sir also to welcome Dr. Anandesh Pandey sir before we start his opening dialogue, sir.
Anandji, namaskar. Herein, I am Professor Sunil Kumar, Vice Chancellor for RGPV, which is collaborating with this particular program. So on behalf of university, I welcome you, Anandji, for this very important Pathshala, wherein we will be talking about the career perspective of our future engineers. I hope you will be doing justice for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, secretary of our LNCT group, where I think persistent has been from last 15 years, Dr. Anupam Chokse, who is also a YI member and a supporter of this program. May I request Dr. Anupam to formally again welcome Anand sir, VC sir, and Dilip. Anupam.
I'd like to welcome Shri Anandji and Sir Sunil Kumar Sir, Vice Chancellor of RGP, our patron. And uh, this program, we think that we will create a bridge between the industry and education, which is the requirement for as of date. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
Yes.
much, Anupam. I also request Pulkit to, on behalf of Via Bhopal, to welcome the dignitaries again, and then we set up with the program of Anand sir. Pulkit.
सर नमस्कार मेरा नाम पुलकित शर्मा है when we were discussing about what next to do after our startup Pathshala, it was a very clear demand that came up for career oriented stuff for our students, our yuva, and that's how we assimilated the best minds in the industry who are in association with our LNCT group and also our YI group, so that we can bring out the best knowledge available in the market, and we train our Yuva students to uh, give the best chance to learn during this COVID season. And let's take this as an opportunity to give also back to our stakeholders, like our members of YI and also our members of Yuva committee. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Anand sir, for joining us today for this uh, inaugural of Career Pathshala. And DC sir, your words have always been very kind and very supportive for YI. We look forward to do such activities again throughout the year. And thanks, Dilip, for coming and gracing the occasion. And thanks, Anupam. And thanks, Rahul.
Sure, Pulkit. So we want you to be here, and may I take this opportunity to introduce the first speaker of our Career Pathshala. Career, when it comes to career, Dr. Anandesh Pandey, I also would like to share that he is also he did his schooling from Bhopal Campion School. So a proud alumni where I did my schooling, and Anupam also did his schooling from. So it's really Bhopal is cheering, and I can hear the voices of a lot of campaigns making a big shout. So having you at Bhopal online during the COVID is going to be a great motivation. Dr. Anandesh Pandey sir is the founder, chairman, and managing director of Persistent Systems since inception, and is responsible for the overall leadership, strategy, and management of the company. Sir holds BTech honors in computer science, MS, and PhD also in computer science. His BTech was from IIT Kharagpur, and his MS and PhD from Indiana University, USA. Sir is a true technology visionary. Anand sir's strength lies in identifying and investing in new technologies and encouraging internal entrepreneurship to ensure that persistent systems stays as a forefront of the technology innovation. Beyond his service to Persistent, sir is also actively involved in a lot of professional and non-profit organizations like NASCOM, MCCIA, ACM, in Pune. He's very active in many organizations, including SEEP and CSI. Sir is also the trustee of Persistent Foundation, and he is the founding member of iSpirit. iSpirit is India's first product think tank, started with the vision of creating a vibrant entrepreneurial ecosystem in India. Sir is also founder member of Inter-Institutional Inclusive Innovation Center I4C. Many of the youth would be very popularly known as knowing it, and the AICT hackathon Persistent, and Dr. Abhay Jere, who is a important part of AICT hackathon, which is done by the government of India, MHRD. Sir is a man behind the vision of that also, and not only sir, but his family is also involved with a lot of social and initiatives through the foundation called Desa Foundation. So there is a lot lot to tell about, sir. But more and more I am feeling so humble that it was just yesterday I was talking to her, talking to him, and I requested sir to be there for 5 minutes. And after hearing the impact of this career pathshala, to which 20,000 students have registered, and we are expecting around 30 to 35,000 students from across the country, from 50 chapters of CII Young India, Yuva, and across various disciplines of engineering, diploma, even graduate students have enrolled to the startup Pathshala. So no one better than Dr. Anandesh Pandey could be the right person to set stage to this career Pathshala. We also have Lavanam joining in. So opening remarks from Dr. Anandesh Pandey sir. The stage is yours. We'll be having a few Q&A sessions with you. Welcome again, sir, and all is yours, sir.
Thank you very much, respected VC sir, Dr. Anuj, Anupamji, Pulkit, Rahul, Lavanam, and also Dilip for inviting me here. It's always a pleasure to be at an event hosted by the Bhopal crowd. I have very fond memories of Bhopal, and I grew up there. I lived in Barkheda, and I was a part of the Bhel township, and I went to Campion and was there till 1979. I've been coming off and on just because I have still a lot of school friends who are living in Bhopal, and I'm there every opportunity I get. Nowadays, my friends' kids are getting married, so that's how this is happening. But it's a real pleasure to be at this event. I have been working on career and career tracking and career management for several years now. And I have, sort of very clear guidelines on what people at different stage of their career need to do. And what you do in one stage of your career is not necessarily the best thing to do when you look ahead in terms of where you want to go. But let me set a little bit of context for most of the very young people, the college students who are here today, who are listening to this particular talk. So the first point I want to make here is that most of you who are in your early 20s today, there is a very good statistical probability that you will live past 100. And a good number of you will actually live past 80. So those of you who are in your early 20s, you are looking ahead to a 60 to 75-year career, okay, that you will have to work on. The other very important fact that you should realize is that in India right now, at every age in India, below the age of 35, we have nearly 25 million people, 2.5 crore people at every age in India. So the reality of this is that even though you might think of a career and job and I want to retire early, the reality is that you are not going to retire until you are 75. So you are going to be working for 50 years, okay? And the reality also is that if you look at what has happened in the last 10 years or 15 years, you will observe that many of the new technologies and solutions that we talk about did not exist 20 years back, and some of them were barely starting out 10 years back. So if I were to extrapolate this forward for the next 10 years, whatever you are learning in college right now is going to be obsolete very fast and is certainly not going to last 10 years, leave alone lasting 50 years. Moreover, when my father started his career in 1958, he started with BHL and worked there for a very long time. It was generally expected that someone like that would work in a company for their entire career, meaning till they retire, and you would retire at 60 or whatever else. This reality doesn't exist anymore. The first important fact is companies are not going to last that long. The life of companies is getting shorter and shorter. So even as an employer, if I feel like I want to give you lifelong career, that opportunity may not exist because the companies itself may not last that long. The second observation in general is that people in a career of say 10, the life of a career typically is between 5 and 8 years. So in a 50-year job, you're going to do at least 10 to 15 different jobs, which are completely different from each other. So the reality is that you are going to look at a career which is going to keep changing. You're going to do different things on an ongoing basis, and you have to be at it for a very long time. So this is the context and the reality of how you should think about your career when you are planning career Pathshala. Now, with this background, I want to give you just a little bit of few starting points to get things started, and then we will answer questions through the Q&A setup. So the first point I want to make here is that you have to understand that in this context that I have set up for you, you are responsible for your career, and it's only you who is responsible for your career. So do not get into this habit of saying the college is going to make my career or the company is going to make a career or any of those things. Reality is you are responsible for your own career, and what happens to your career is completely and entirely your responsibility. Second point is that, when you look at it this way, where you are responsible for your own career, you have to think in and I like Arjun as a role model for someone you should be thinking about. What did Arjun do really well? Arjun had an aspiration, a vision, which was grounded in certain levels of ethics and dharma, as you call it. So he really knew what he was doing in the context of something that was a big picture story. He was not just a small, I'm getting something done today. He had an overall vision of where he wanted to be. So that was very important aspect of Arjun. The other important aspect of Arjun is that he was not just a pontifier, meaning he just didn't give gyan and advice. He actually did something. So he had a super bias towards action. And this is important for some of you who are in your early stage of your career. You need to think about a long-term view of your career. You're going to work for 50 years. So you have to make sure you are thinking in terms of doing things where you're not compromising your 50-year career in any way. And you are moving ahead in that direction. And the second point is that all of us have the same amount of time. We all live in a 24-hour clock, and every day is clearly known to us. So what we do with our time is our responsibility. And what we make out of it is going to differentiate between us and other people that we have amongst our peer group. So this is really where it is. So I think I'm really delighted that this career guidance and career Pathshala is an initiative started by YI. But from the students' point of view, these initiatives are guideposts for you. They cannot define your career. You have to define your career. And these career Pathshala and other respected people who will come to these sessions, they are all going to give you guidance and opportunities. They are going to shine the light on a path, but you have to move on that path, and that's your problem and your job. So those who move and think about where they are moving will actually get somewhere. And that's really where I want to stop and hand it back to Anuj. And maybe we can talk about it in a Q&A model, because that way we can get your thoughts and your questions answered. I'll let Anuj explain how he's going to take the questions and all of that stuff. But Anuj, all yours now.
Sir, thank you so much. It's a privilege. And we are also getting some questions on the YouTube, which we'll be taking. And we all are here in this online mode because of something which happened worldwide. So, but definitely IT industry. So we'll be taking some Q&As. We also have got some questions from students. So we'll be trying to take it in a Q&A model so it becomes more interactive. So, sir, presently IT industry in this COVID scenario is going through a lot of uncertainties. So, how you feel that the IT sector has come up for dealing with this uncertainty which is persisting right now? So,
okay,
just your comments on that, sir.
Right. So let me first say that the IT industry actually will come out stronger after this COVID thing, and I'll explain why I say that. And while I explain that, I also want to reassure all the graduating students that by and large, there'll be enough jobs for all of you. Okay. Now, there may be a certain level of uncertainty amongst a set of companies who have maybe holding offers or not making offers right now. And that is more to do with the current uncertainty, which means I don't know exactly what might happen in the next 2 quarters. So that's why people are holding back. But reality is that the IT industry is going to do really well in the next few years. And let me explain why I say that. So the first thing is, as you would have noticed, we are doing all of this on technology. So the whole fact that we have this kind of a platform The fact that teleconferences and all of that stuff is starting to happen. This has really transformed the use of technology in various industries. I anticipate that this kind of technology use will move to pretty much every single industry, whether it is healthcare, whether it is education, whether it is even agriculture and many other areas. The fact that I can do this video conferencing, do training online, this is going to change the way technology can be used, and we all understand the importance of technology. The second factor is that we have all observed that, because of COVID and all the needs for various things, we have realized that it is pretty hard and we have many issues that we need to sort out. Every company that I'm working with is thinking two things. How do I build my tech infrastructure or my infrastructure to be super resilient, which means I'll be able to respond depending on whatever I need to do. And second, how do I use digital technology where I can engage with my stakeholders in an aggressive way? So this all requires tech and IT. The third aspect that you would have realized that, especially, and I can say this for myself and many of you who are there, we are able to do a lot of our tech work or IT work from home without any disturbance at all. Actually, we are working far more efficiently in this model than we used to work when we were going to office. So this has created this whole work from home, which I'm going to extend to work from anywhere. And this whole concept of work from anywhere is going to create superb opportunities for anyone who is talented. And that's why India has an advantage. We have a large number of you who are very capable, and you can work from anywhere in the world to solve problems for any other part of the world, including parts in India. And this is a super boon for people from smaller towns and smaller institutions, because now you don't have to be in a big city, whether in India or anywhere in the world for that matter, to be part of this whole part of the tech bandwagon in some sense. So these are 3 or 4 areas where you can see the immediate benefit to the tech industry. I'm also extremely bullish about the importance of technology in the Indian market. You will see there have been 2 very distinct discussions, one specifically around Prime Minister Modi talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat. If you want to do Atmanirbhar Bharat, the importance of technology cannot be undermined. Atmanirbhar will only happen if we leverage technology at every point and across the whole spectrum, which is again lots of opportunities for India. There is also a very strong anti-China move all across the world, which again is a huge opportunity for all of us in India. And the last thing I want to mention is the Indian demographics. So if you think through the Indian demographics, we have 175 million households, which are in the middle of the pyramid. That is below there is 13% of our population, which is in the top of the pyramid, which use products that are comparable to the rest of the world. But the next pyramid, which is the middle tier, the expanding Bharat as we call it, that is 175 million households, so 750 million people. That is almost the size of 2 times America. It's that big. These 175 million households all of a sudden now have Jan Dhan accounts and accounts, bank accounts. They're all having mobile phones. They're all dealing with technology at the next level. And they are all aspirational Indians. They all make between 20,000 rupees per month for family income to 2 lakh rupees for family income. They are the ones who are watching YouTube in vernacular. If you look at the kinds of new stuff that is coming in, targeted to India, very unique to India, that is where the action is. And that opportunity is unbelievable. So I think if you look at the IT landscape and the technology landscape for the next 5 years, I must say all of you are extremely fortunate that you are in your early 20s and you have the opportunity to dominate and be a dominant player for the next 30 years in this area where we are going to have a phenomenal run in the tech industry.
So the another question, I think Pulkit, you had a question to ask. Yes.
Yeah, Anandji, I have a two-tiered question. Like a lot of students had planned and acquired their skill set as per pre-COVID times, and now since things are toppled up, where do you where do you think our students stand with the skill set they had acquired in terms of software programming or in terms of engineering skills, and how far are they from the required skill sets today, and what are the opportunities for them?
See, I'm not sure why students get very worried. The skill set have not changed because of COVID. Meaning, whatever you are doing, whatever was being done is going to remain the same. If you're looking at technology, how has COVID changed your skill set? There is no change in the skill set. It's the same skills. It's just that now, because of COVID, certain jobs were on hold, people were working from home, and all of these kinds of things were happening. So there may have been a short glitch in the context for people saying that, I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I have to wait for things to settle down. And now, by and large, people have figured out that the new or normal includes working from anywhere. So I don't think anybody is waiting anymore. So I think we are on the move, and I don't believe there is any change in the skill set requirements. I think the opportunity is the following. What happens is that in a situation like we are in, where COVID shakes up the world in some sense, what happens is people who are coasting without thinking all of a sudden fall off the chart, and they say, "Oh well, what's happening? I'm lost now. I got this whole, I'm like a deer in the headlights." But all of a sudden now, once things settle down, those people who have a chance pick themselves up and go back at it, I think will be fine. I think there is very little reason why people should be paranoid about or extremely worried about the short glitch that we have. In fact, this has opened up more opportunities than ever before.
Thank you.
So I think Rahul, you wanted to have something from student. Yes, please, Rahul.
Yes, sir. So my question to you is, what should be the student's strategy to prepare themselves? Is coding must for anyone who is working in IT industry, be it a domain person or someone doing project management?
See, if I'm a fresh graduate, okay, I shouldn't be thinking about all these crazy things. What you should think about is, how do you learn to learn? That is the key thing to figure out. Because, as I said, you're going to work 50 years. You're not going to be doing the same coding for the next 10, 15, 20 years. Those people who are agile, nimble, who can figure out what's happening, and this is what Darwin said as well, right? It's not the biggest or the boldest to survive, those who are most adaptable to change. So we are in a world that is going to keep changing, and those people who are at it should learn how to learn and figure out what needs to happen. Now, if you're looking at sort of very specifically my first job, okay, and I want to get into the interview and get a job which is going to give me some money, if that's your only objective, then of course, coding is a good idea. I somehow believe that actually everybody should be learning how to code, whether you are 20 or 40 or 50, and everyone should be coding all the time. So that part I believe in, because coding is going to happen at all levels. You're going to code your video, remote to your computer game, to your car, to everything else. So everything has code in it, and you might have to tweak it, and you can't just say, well, I can't do it anymore. So this kind of stuff is going to be needed. So everyone has to do coding. Project management and all that, no fresher is going to start with project management work. I think those are things you evolve after you show up to work. So if you're looking at sort of a career plan, the way I suggest to everyone is, you should have a pie strategy. Okay, by pie strategy, this is what I mean. Pie has a horizontal line. Okay, that means you should have breadth of various subjects. So you should know programming, you should know English, you should know how to write code, how to communicate. And I know Dilipji mentioned a bit about soft skills and various other things. All of those are very important, horizontal, broad skills that everyone must have. In addition to that, pie has two vertical lines. One is straight and one is a little bit crooked, right? So the straight line is about the depth of technology. You should get deep into something else. So if you are good at something, don't just be just good at it, be very good at it. And that's important. So the point is, it doesn't matter what you're good at, as long as you're very good at it. Okay, so that's important. What you're good at is generally okay, but it's not that important. You'll always have room for the best experts in every area. That is inherently why this becomes exciting. And the second thing is an application of technology. So all of you who are working on technology cannot do technology unless it's applied. So you have to understand how to take the technology and apply it to whatever you are trying to do. So those are the things that I would recommend as things that you should plan on. But I don't think you should be looking at very micro things as a fresh graduate. If you start out and say, well, I'm going to only do a certain kind of Java or whatever else that a lot of people like to say, tomorrow if I have a project that requires you to do Scala or some new language comes in and I need somebody to do it, if you want to say, no, I just do this, then that's not very nice. You should be versatile enough to pick up whatever is needed. And when somebody is looking at new people and a new language, clearly there aren't people who have 20 years of experience in that area because that language didn't exist 20 years back. So that's really what it is all about. So how fast can you learn is really the key to success.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. So we have one of the educationist and secretary of one of the largest Central India educational group, Anupam. So your question from behalf of the education fraternity on the changing, sir, is saying that the change is rapid and fast. So how? So your question also goes around it. So yes, Dr. Anupam, your question, please.
One of my concern, and all the college owners are concerned nowadays because we are technical colleges, is placements. You must be always receiving calls from colleges, and every person, the students also, what will be the placements, and our university is changing the syllabus very fast, and we are adapting to it. But still, I will just ask for the students' sake also and my faculty sake also. Which technologies you think will be dominating after COVID, or say in the new times which are coming up? I'm not concerned with the COVID only. The changes are very fast, as Anuj has already told us. And how this technology changes will reflect in our job opportunities, the students which are getting. Like we are hearing from lot many times that AI is coming in a big way. In few years time, mid-level jobs will not be there, but will be done by the artificial intelligence. So I will just ask about that only.
Okay, you have a loaded set of questions you have asked me right now. But let me first start by sort of sounding a sort of alarm bell for colleges in a sense. See, the thing is, this whole online education is going to become the norm in the future. So any student anywhere in the country can attend any class that he chooses or she chooses from anywhere in the world. Second, people are going to express and expect individuals and students to have hands-on experience to the extent possible. And a lot of that hands-on experience will also be possible on platforms, including hackathons like we organize and other hackathons that are happening. So one of the questions that students are going to ask very seriously is, what is it that colleges provide and why do I ever need to go to a college at all? And one of the questions that companies will start to think about is, why do I need to go to campus to do campus recruitment when I can recruit online from anywhere in the world or anywhere in India without having to even step into college? Because as long as I have people coming online, they could come from anywhere. I don't even know what college they are coming from. I'm going to test them. I run a test online. Whoever makes it can make it. So this whole thing is going to really put a lot of pressure on colleges, because students are going to ask hard questions as to why should I spend money to go to a college when all the college, I'm not sure what the college is offering me anymore. So there's a problem on the colleges side. So I think that's something that the colleges have to figure out. Now, putting it from the colleges' point of view, let me suggest that there is an opportunity for colleges. Why do colleges think that college education is for only 4 years of college that they are in? You should be selling subscriptions to people who come to college for life. You should be charging students who come to your college and go away. They need to keep their college education updated on an ongoing basis, right? So they should be subscribing to your college for ongoing education on an ongoing basis for the 50-year career that they are going to do after college. So you should be selling 55-year subscriptions to all your students rather than thinking of your college as your job ends when you have found a placement guy to take them and pay them some money and you're done. Don't think like that. Your opportunity is to stay engaged with these people for their lifetime. And that's the opportunity. So this whole dichotomy on how colleges are going to function, students are going to work, is going to change very dramatically. Now, everyone seems to get too hung up on what technology is going to be the future and all that. As I told you, whatever you had known 10 years back doesn't exist anymore. Whatever you said 5 years back is barely true anymore. So whatever I say now is not going to be valid beyond 5 years. So yes, okay. So what am I looking for from people who are starting off today? And if I have to interview someone for a very specific skill, what skills should I be looking at? And one thing I must point out, that colleges should not be responsible for creating skills. You should be responsible for creating an education that includes and helps people to learn. Skills are a part of it. Now, the skills that people should have today, yes, I think people should have programming skills. That is clearly the necessity stuff. Then if you look at the 3 or 4 layers in which most of the code is written, a lot of work happens on networks. 5G networks are going to be the next thing to worry about, and various kinds of communication at various levels going to be very important. We are going to have to deal with a large amounts of data. So you are going to have to figure out a way to put that data together. So how do you manage large volumes of data? How do you deal with it? How do you process data? So a lot of programming required in that. And then how do you put this data to use? Well, you'll use this data by putting machine learning or artificial intelligence against that data. And finally, how are you going to consume this data? You're going to consume this data more likely than not on voice-based chatbots or other kind of very simple bots. So that's the architecture that is evolving, and that is going to require skills across the life cycle. I think I don't know how much time we have, but this is sort of what I thought I should answer your question, Anupam.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for this. We are taking one question from student, and then we will have our vice chancellors also keen to ask a question. So we will have a student question, and then we will go to vice chancellor, sir, because he always asks.
First, let me ask the question.
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
This is a great day wherein a vice chancellor and Anandesh Pandey ji both in a pathshala.
Yes, we are all learning from each other.
Yes. और जब हमारे अनुपम जी ने ये क्वेश्चन पूछा अबाउट द कॉलेज रिलेवेंसी, तो आनंदेश पांडे जी ने बड़ा रिलेवेंट क्वेश्चन उठाया कि पीपल शुड आस्क क्वेश्चन कि व्हाई शुड आई गो टू द कॉलेज, और ये क्वेश्चन मैं भी पूछ रहा हूँ कि व्हाई शुड वन गो टू द कॉलेज। यहाँ पर बड़ी रिलेवेंट चीज ये है देश पांडे जी कि व्हेन अ पर्सन कम्स टू द कॉलेज ही शुड फील लाइक इट दैट इट इज ए इंडस्ट्री इटसेल्फ। प्रोफेशनल कॉलेज में हमारी जो एंट्री होना चाहिए देयर दे शुड फील लाइक इट इज एन इंडस्ट्री, और जब इंडस्ट्री में जाए तो दे शुड फील लाइक इट एन इंस्टीट्यूशन। जब तक इस तरह का आपस में हमारा कोलैबोरेशन नहीं होगा, इंडिया विल नॉट बिकम सुपर पावर इन रियल सेंस। दैट्स माय फिलॉसफी।
Yeah, I'm with you.
That is my philosophy, because you cannot feel alienated. आप अगर academic system से alienated हो जाएंगे तो the kind of power we are looking for we cannot achieve the same. Objectives are same, और हम दोनों को एक ही लाइन पर आना पड़ेगा। You have to use our power or the kind of manpower we are having, the kind of young force we are having, और उसको nurture करना पड़ेगा, और ये दोनों हमें और आपको दोनों मिलकर करना होगा। So that kind of spirit is required, wherein we should feel like it that the university are integral part of any ecosystem.
Exactly.
Likewise, university should feel like it that industry is a part of ecosystem of the university setup. So that kind of feeling we have to evolve, और उस पर हमको आगे काम करना चाहिए। I feel like it, these kind of पाठशाला में work on that direction. Thank you very much.
सर, मैं आपको एक सजेशन देना चाहता हूँ इस हिसाब में, जो मैं यहाँ पे लोगों को कह रहा हूँ। आपके लिए एक सजेशन है, इस तरह से अगर आप कर सकें तो। देखिए, ऐसा है कि हमारे जो एम्प्लॉइज हैं, जो हम लोग काम करते हैं, एम्प्लॉइज जो इंडस्ट्री में हैं, दे आर ऑल लुकिंग फॉर कंटिन्यूअस लर्निंग अपॉर्चुनिटीज।
Sure.
You have classes that you are conducting that are going to become more and more online. So employees from anywhere in the world could attend classes that you are offering in Bhopal.
Sure.
My suggestion is that you offer classes that include some regular students and some students who are from industry attending the same class. The excitement would be even very wonderful. Let's say I'm doing a heat transfer class, right? And if you have in your heat transfer thing, say for example, I suggested this in Pune. We have Thermax as one of the companies in the heat related areas, and they do a lot of thermal related work. So if I have a class that I'm doing where a student in third year is doing, a second year is doing a heat transfer class in mechanical engineering, and in his class there are 2 students who are actually employees of Thermax who are attending that class with him and are part of that project. Then during that project discussion, they are discussing not just what is happening inside college, but also what is happening in the other things. And I can tell you for a fact that when I'm running my shop, I'm 58 right now. The kind of learning I get from talking to 18 and 20-year-olds is amazing. I like to see that happen. I would love to be in a class with 20-year-olds who are telling me things that I will never know from other 50-year-olds. So the opportunity of bringing students into your classroom and having joint projects where students and academics are attending the same class. Now, another point I'd suggest to you. See, normally you have a class which is maybe 16 weeks and 3 credits or 3 hours a week or whatever. If you are able to rearrange your classes so that people are able to attend 1 credit out of it rather than attending the whole class. So if I do a course, for example, in artificial intelligence, and I can split that class into 4 parts or 3 parts, where 1 part I'm going to talk about, let's say, some nuances of machine learning and deep learning. Just that part is 1/3 of my total course. So that course you can sell separately to industry folks who can attend just that deep learning piece. So that way they are not committing to a full class over 16 and 18 weeks. And you will also be able to get a financial model that will work well, because you can charge only 90,000 rupees from a student for a semester, or maybe a lakh of rupees. Here you can charge 20,000 rupees, 25,000 rupees per credit from the employee, and you can double your class because everything is online anyway. So I think there is a good opportunity if both of us stop thinking about the walls that we have divided ourselves in, but sort of become, intermingle between the colleges and the industry rather than looking at them as 2 separate things interacting. We should sort of look at a unified view of the individual and their journey through the lifetime.
देखिए डियर स्टूडेंट, देखिए अभी आपने देखा कि मैंने आनंद जी के सामने एक इशू रखा, उसको उन्होंने कितने ब्यूटीफुली उसको एक्सप्लेन किया. So why you can see why Mr. Anandesh Pandey is Mr. Anandesh Pandey. So grabbing the opportunity at right time is a great skill that you have to learn. So everybody has to learn that kind of skill.
This is not on the fly.
I would like to add to this what Pandey ji has suggested. Why only, sir, industries? Why not only also students, sir? If as a student he wants to take a credit for a certain skill set, why can't he take a credit for that skill set, and he should be able to pay that amount of fee and gain that knowledge? If I'm an electrical engineer and I want to gain a knowledge inside the college itself from a certain different stream, why I cannot get an education of that semester?
Pulkit ji, that kind of flexibility has been already introduced in the RGPV, wherein a student of mechanical can take credit from computer science, or a computer science student can take credit from civil or IT mechanical, anything. That kind of flexibility has been already introduced. That is there. That is there.
That is very progressive, sir, but it's very good to know.
Sir, so taking forward the discussion, like we have few questions from students, like can you point out few technology areas of future, just the names or the comments? And a second question is, what if not the corporate job beyond that? So would like to highlight, would like your view on first the technology areas which would be in demand, taking the comments of Anupam further, the and beyond placements, what students can look at. Yes.
See, the point I'm trying to make for the last 30 minutes and 40 minutes is that it's not one single technology that makes a difference. How good are you at that makes a difference. Okay, so it doesn't matter what technology. It matters a lot how good you are at that technology. Okay, so even if you picked any technology that was outdated or whatever the heck it is, but if you're really good at it, then you have demand. There is no place in the world for just sort of just pretenders. You need to be an expert at whatever you're doing. So but still, I think the hot technologies that are around right now are, of course, machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science, and all of these areas. Now, the other question regarding, if not jobs, what else can you look at? So I am sort of a big believer in higher education as an option. I believe that at 22, when you are just out of college, you have very little clue about what is happening in the industry and everywhere else. and you are too siloed in your idea and thinking. I must admit that my 5 years that I spent in doing a PhD were the best part of my life. I got to learn many different things. I was able to attend classes and attend lectures from people in completely unrelated areas that was not related to what I was doing. And that whole broadening of the experience that I could get and the extra time that I could get to decide to commit to my long-term career options was very valuable. So I think it is important to think a little bit wider. You have 50 years of career, like I pointed out to you. Why are you so desperate about your 22nd year, that 1 year that you are going to think about when you get out of college? Think a little bit long term, spend your time, learn your time. If you have the luxury to do that, or do some other gig jobs that if you have to get things moving. So higher education is certainly one option. The second option I would encourage people to look at is to look at the social sector. See, what has been exposed is right now you will find that there are many opportunities in the non-profit social sectors where I think you may want to look at, how can you make a difference to the wider community, and the experience you will get is unbelievable. I know certain individuals who sort of took 2 years off and just went to some remote parts of the country doing complete social service. The transformation that happened to them in those 2 years was so phenomenal that when they came back into profession, they were so focused and so clear about what they wanted to do that they were super successful and caught up with all those people who had spent 2 years just coding in the company. So there is value in sort of spending a few years of, off the work, off the grid into doing something that is socially relevant. It opens your eyes to a new world. And the third thing I want to mention is entrepreneurship. I think a lot of you should think about entrepreneurship as a career. It's a great thing to do. Don't worry about jobs. Create your own jobs. Create not only jobs for yourself, but for everyone else as well. So entrepreneurship is definitely an option. And if you look at entrepreneurship today, we have been exposed to so many problems in the last 6 to 8 weeks, 10 weeks, that we can see so many ideas of what you could do with entrepreneurship right now. So if I'm a 22-year-old, I would be bustling with energy to say, wow, there are so many cool problems where we have issues. Let me go fix them. And if you can create a solution that can be charged with a reasonable amount of business model with it, then I would recommend doing entrepreneurship as a very definite opportunity for you all.
Definitely, sir. So you just touched upon on the 22-year-old bustling with energy. So everyone in this run of life survival mode, we all how you as people who are sharing the screen, most of us we all would like to hear, because you have been also from the scratch you started. So as an elderly advice, how you advise the professionals for plan their every 10 years of life, like how to just a quick on the professional life every 10 years, how they can look at, so that they can settle in life happily as you are.
Okay, so I think we are talking mainly to the 22-year-olds, so I don't want to go too much into detail on it, but I meet a lot of people in the mid-career thing, and I find the most dukhi janta in the world is those who are in their mid-40s, mid-45, 46. They're sort of thinking they're there and they kind of get messed up. They get into a little bit of a rut. So I have been helping them in trying to figure out how to manage your career. So the advice that I give people is that in your first 10 years of your career, you should focus on learning and networking. In the second 10 years of your career, you should really focus on becoming an expert at something, and the world should say that you're an expert at it. The third 10 years, you should spend your time really defining what your corner of is and getting to that. And in the last 10 years, while that is the professional years, you still have many more years after that. So you have to deliver on what you have promised, coach the next generation, and then be in a position to figure out what you will do post-retirement and how can you contribute to the society. So there's a plan that I work on with several people. That's something that I need another 2 hours for. So today I will not get into that discussion.
Yes, sir. So as we know that you have been into the board meeting today, and it has been very nice of you to be here. So we'd like to have your concluding remark, but we would like you to stay before we pitch in Lavarnam for the career Pathshala. So before we take your concluding remark, Anand sir, I would request the Mr. Lavannam Ambala. He is the national head of Wipro campus hiring for freshers. So Lavannam, your comments, and then we go to Anand sir for his closing remark. Yes, Lavannam.
Very good evening to everybody, and Dr. Anand, Professor Sunil, Rahul, Pulkit, Dr. Anuj, and other bigwigs who are there in this forum. It's a great forum. Actually, I would like to congratulate the chapter for initiating this event. I'm sure a lot of freshers, fresh graduates, and a lot of people who are looking forward to learn a lot of things and interact with people will have a great opportunity. And most of the points which I actually jot down and wanted to discuss with people, actually Dr. Anand Deshpande has addressed actually, so he just spoke my mind. However, in my next session, I would go deep into some of the points where the students keep asking questions on skills and everything, and I would like to touch upon more because that is my area of research, part of my PhD that I've been doing for how to improve the employability skills sustainably. It is not just one time you are getting a job and you are employable, because you have to be sustainably being employable throughout your career is what important. So for which I would definitely speak on the attributes someone need to nurture throughout their career. So very insightful inputs that Dr. Anand and Professor Sunil have given in this forum. I'm really glad to be part of this event. Thank you so much. So that's what my comment.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Lavannam. And before we wrap up, we would like to sum up and set the journey off of Career Pathshala. We could not have started this Career Pathshala with no other than Dr. Anandesh Pandey. So, sir, we would like to have your concluding remarks and your wishes for this initiative, sir.
Yes, so let me sort of address to the 22-year-olds or the 20-year-olds in this room and say, don't give too much credence to employers in telling you what skills you should learn, because that is actually very useless. What you should do is remember you are responsible for your own career. You define what you want to do. So dream big. Think about all the great things you could do. You are 22. We are in a country where lots of opportunities exist. And what I believe is that if you make a dream and if you think about something that you want to do, there is a good chance that you will get it. So think and aspire big. Don't sell yourself short. Don't get boxed into saying that I need to learn this skill and that skill. Learn at an all time. Second point is the world doesn't give any bow to people who are just okay at many things. Okay. And it's very difficult for many of us to be good at many things at the same time. So pick a few areas, get really good at them. So don't count in the number of skills you have, count on the depth of the skill you have. And if you are able to do that, that's what the world is looking for. And I'm sure you'll be very successful. And the last thing I want to mention to all of you is that, see, in this world, right, if you look at the difference between those who are successful and those who are not, the difference is in persistence. Okay, those people who come back the next day and try again, they are the ones who succeed. So it's not about failure. Everyone has failures. Every one of us go through challenges every day. The difference between the winner and the losers are those who come back, who are persistent, they win and they survive. Those who give up are not in contention. So if you're a 22-year-old, don't get too hassled about Corona or any of those things. Put your time to good use. You are responsible for your own destiny. Make the most of it. You couldn't have been born at a better time, in my opinion. So don't complain. Just seize it and do it, and be persistent. Thank you all very much for listening to me today. If you have any further questions or you want to ask anything, just put it on Twitter if you want. I am on Twitter. Put my handle. I'm the first 4 letters of my first name and the first 4 letters of my last name. So you can put something there. My email address is anand@persistent.com. If you search online, you should be able to find me. It's not that difficult to look for me. If you have a question, just send me mail. I do answer my own mails, so if I am able to, I will. Thank you very much for inviting me here. It's always a pleasure to connect with Bhopal. I have very fond memories from my school days, so thank you for inviting me, Anuj. It's a
So
pleasure
we
to be
thank
here.
you, and we
Thank
a
you
big
for
applause
coming.
to you. And the Career
Thank you.
Pathshala will definitely look at you coming back, guiding us, and also be updating you with the how this Career Pathshala goes. I also take this opportunity to thank Kalpana from Persistent who helped us in coordinating. I request Pulkit for the vote of thanks, and then we also would be having the second session of Mr. Lavanna Mambala, who has done his PhD in the similar topic. So, Pulkit, just on behalf of everyone here, we please thank Anand sir.
Sir, I'm really short of words today because the kind of knowledge and the kind of hand holding you have done for the youth of Bhopal, it's I don't have words to express my gratitude for you, and I really look forward to have more such interactions with you and your team for Via Bhopal, and we look forward to have RGPV and Wipro all support us in this quest for improving the youth of this country and for this city. Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, VC sir, your any words, comments? Thank VC sir.
Yeah, on behalf of RGB, just I thank Dr. Anandesh Pandey for coming here and giving you a new way of having the classes, and definitely I would like to have Dr. Anandesh Pandey in some of my class. Thank you very much.
Yes,
Anand.
sure. I'd be happy to be part of your class, sir. What subject do
sir.
you teach?
Luckily, heat transfer.
Okay, sorry. That's something I don't know anything about, but wonderful. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you so much. It was a memory for Bhopal. Thank you, Dr. Anand, and we look forward for your
Yes, I'm
blessing.
going to
Thank you.
sign off. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you, sir. So before we had the stages all set, and Dr. Anand has been there to just put the stage on, and now we are all set to have the first session of Career Pathshala with Mr. Lavanam Ambala, and he is someone who has been very closely monitoring the fresher hiring, and also he has been traveling to across the length and breadth of the country, and we just a minute. Yes, so he has been very closely seeing the change in the employability patterns, and also Mr. Lavanam is the head of campus hiring at Wipro Limited, and he is joining here today also as a capacity of a research scholar into the employability trends which are continuously changing. On behalf of CII Young Indians, the 50 cities of the country where this session is attended by more than 15,000 students, we got around 20,000 registrations, and we welcome you, Lavannam sir, to the Career Pathshala. And taking it forward, we would like to have your opening remark on the today's topic of employability trends. We welcome you, and I'm seeing a lot of messages coming from students, fraternity, and we'll take those questions also. Formally welcome you, sir.
Thanks, Dr. Anuj, for this opportunity. Since this has been my area of research, I always, take this as my privilege to interact with the segment which I always like and always would like to interact. And even the first session with Dr. Anandesh Pandey and Professor Sunil has opened up a lot of insights and addressed a lot of, common questions from the fraternity who is eager to know, things about the current situation. And so if I look at the current situation, and like everybody, even I am also stuck at home. and started working from home and started getting adapted to the change. This situation nobody has uh, guessed that we all would be, the things will move out of our control for some time, and it all disrupt our plans, and a lot of things have come to a halt. But what is something which, a positive thing about this particular situation, as Dr. Anandesh Pandey also mentioned, that it has opened a lot of opportunities and new avenues for us to realize which are the segments we are really strong, which are the segments we had to improve, and what are the problems we have to address. So this is the carrot for all the fresh minds, so who are watching this, and they should take as an opportunity that how they can provide solutions for this, and with a lot of other enablements that are coming from the government and other industry, mm, along with the uh, you know a great push for solutioning. So if each one of us can play a major role in learning new things and developing new things. So in this quest, I'm sure that each one of you, it's not just the career is only towards one segment that you wanted to nurture your career. So you can become an entrepreneur, you can become a geek in a particular segment, and you can start pursuing the opportunities that are required. Of course, for some time, for a few months, there is a uncertainty on the future recruitments and the process and the enablement issues. A lot of issues are there, but I'm sure um, things will become normal. And by the time things become normal, as you requested, I would definitely emphasize on the things that our students need to be prepared with. So it's again an opportunity for them that this has bought some time for them to do some self evaluation and nurture those skills and competencies which will help them to be employable when the opportunity knocks their door. So in the same context, in my view, so I would like to mention that during the question and answers with in the previous session, a lot of people were asking about the skill sets they need to work on, and but as I echoing Dr. Anand, the skill sets which you learn today definitely after a couple of years, couple of after you moving from one domain to another domain while you're joining an organization will definitely become irrelevant, and which will ask you to learn a new technology, otherwise know about new module or do something different. So that is the process henceforth going forward. Not only now, we have been seeing for last 10 years. So at least 6-7 years back, or even 10 years back, those who knows particular language in terms of software programming language used to have a career for next 10 years. Like so if somebody learns Java, so they can become a Java developer, then Java senior developer, Java tech lead, and Java program manager. So today, that's not the case. So unless you know at least 2 or 3 programming languages and know the frameworks well, and you have a complete in-depth knowledge in one skill, it will be difficult for you to um, you know become a unique individual, because that competition is very aggressive outside. So I would like to emphasize on some of the competencies. You must know that what are the skills, what are the competencies. Okay, so the skills that everybody will look at, you should be good at programming languages. You should be good at language, that communication skills. This and also uh, also can be coding. Also can be mm, any other segment. But what is something very important in this entire quest? towards being employable, important factor these days is self-learning ability. So there are a lot of content that is available outside, uh, but it's very important for you to filter it, whether it is useful to you or not, and while you learn it. So how the process of learning has to be through a practical based learning or experience based learning or project based learning or interactive based learning. So if you make your learning process aligning to these four kinds of learning patterns, you don't need to do a revision again and again. So those things are very important. So gone are the days that companies would invest on your training from the beginning. So most of the people would expect you to learn before you join and start working on the projects. The self-learning is not just a is easy thing, because these all days throughout your learning process you always been to a college, and you will be having a teacher, faculty who would be assisting you and clarifying you and spending a lot of time there. But today, all these things have been taken out from you, where you are an individual sitting in a room and start interacting with the gadget and start learning. So in this entire learning process, I would urge you how you can bring a collaborative learning, so that you can have a lot of reflections with your fellow colleague who is learning the same topic, and you can take guidance when it's required from the experts or your professors. So project based learning is very important. And while you so learn all these things, okay, but one thing is very important, what employers look in a fresh graduate, the
Yes, that
solution.
was my question. I really wanted to ask. Like, a lot of students come to me and freshers every time. Ki, what is the companies looking at as a fresh employee coming out of college grad? What skills, and whether I'm from IT, I'm from non-IT, a generic what is being looked, and then specifically for IT industry, Lavanam. This is a great question. In fact, you touched upon. I was about to ask the same one.
Okay, so not only IT industry, any interviewer or any employer, while they look for their future employees, the one of the common attribute they look at is that particular person has an habit of solution. So if that person will be candidate, will be able to think logically and arrive at a solution, and will be able to work in teams, and uh, and also clarity in their thoughts and clarity in their speech, and also adaptability and patience. And these are the key things while they look at, and also the flexibility. The most important thing, that adaptability and flexibility at this stage, it's very important, that we have been taken out a lot of enablements that we've been having, and then a lot of challenges currently we're going to see. Just for last 2 hours, uh, of this conversation, there are a lot of intents that we come across in terms of network data and electricity, and the gadgets that we are using may not be compatible to the program that you are doing. So a lot of challenges we have, actually. So we should definitely need to have a great preparation, and also need to have the flexibility, that if you say that I will not be comfortable to take this particular learning, I will not be able to uh, uh, it's like if you say that I'm specifically looking for this only Java programmer job, or don't give me testing job, or don't put me through some certain infrastructure related jobs. So when you come with these preferences, people see that you are not very flexible to take up the jobs that are assigned to you. That is one more thing. And apart from that, one more we were discussing yesterday, that yes, patience is very important, because today the opportunities that comes to you in maybe throughout the year, there will be enough opportunities comes to you. So you need to know how to pursue that opportunity with a great persistence is very important, so that that will help you towards better individual um, and leverage the opportunities that are available outside. So I would like to mention one more thing, that rather than just going through the just only the sessions that you have listed out throughout this chapter, um, I think you should take more suggestions from the audience, that which are the courses, which are the topics they would like to know more, so that if you ask other colleagues and friends that are helping you uh, to get those enablements will be helpful, so that you will be able to cover a large uh, a segment of the aspirations that everybody comes with. So that's where I would want you to put a question, or give them a forum where they all can send a request, that what are the topics they would like to know more, so that I will be happy to get some support from my connects and also other industry colleagues who are ready to help you. They should be able to get you this. That will be very good.
Definitely, that will be a great support. So Lavannam sir has opened up options of where students can comment about what type of sessions they want. So the first week of Career Pathshala is all on. We have lined up a good 7-8 speakers for the first week, and taking forward, we can definitely line up more good speakers from the fraternity who will be coming and supporting us in the Career Pathshala. So when we were designing this idea, Lavannam was the person whom I reached up, and because of the fact that he has been a very deeply involved into understanding the gaps of employability. So it has been a great efforts and support from Lavannam in designing Career Pathshala, and also his support would be all there for supporting it. So Lavanam, a very important question which I come across is that a lot of time students are in pressure of giving appearing in campus placements in particularly. So in the pressure they don't cope up, and how to handle that pressure of campus placement. And second added question is, in case you fail, the youngsters at this age are not easy to hold this. So somewhere down the line, how to prepare, how to uh, uh, stay, how to hold the pressure of campus hiring in fresher, and how to take failure as a stepping stone for improving themselves. Your ideas and your views, sir, on this.
So definitely, it is not a good thing that feel the pressure at the time of interview process, because somebody who is going to the interview process, they already been screened and selected towards, um, towards finding their abilities which will match the organization's demand or not. So you can't do any patchwork there. But one thing very important, that be yourself, because if you have crossed some screening section and you are going there, definitely the interviewers. So first thing is, every interviewer's objective would be towards selecting the candidate. So they don't interview anybody with an objective of rejecting. So it's very important for you to put your story, the how impressive it would be. So now each one of you definitely must have a right story for yourself, in order to attend your interview process confidently. Because why I'm saying is that you have an opportunity. I'm sure that a lot of companies are aligning their demand right now, that what would be the demand for the next year and the next. So they do a forecast now. During this process, they may take some time. So then you may have some next couple of months or 3 months. So during this 3 months, people say that they're aware about certain technologies, but they don't know deep. So as soon you say that I wanted to uh, uh, pursue my career in artificial intelligence and I have studied about it, but who stopped you to really do a small pilot project in it, and at least participate in some open challenges that are around, so that where you can actually prove your at least practice whatever you have learned about it, so that will definitely helps you explain more, because that you have gone through an experience based learning, because you have already participated in a challenge, and you know what kind of a challenge it was, and how you attempted it, and how you come across, how you give the solution. So this is the right thing that a panel would definitely know, not just the things what you have written, in the CV. So whatever you mention in your CV definitely need to reflect in the real meaning, so that the panel would be happy to know that yes, this particular person has gone beyond the boundary, and work towards knowing it more about the technology. Because being a fresher, definitely, so these are the common things. One of my senior has summarized in very short way that what are the things need to be looked in a fresher in 3 C's. First is the content, second is their ability to communicate, and the third is their confidence level. All these things means a lot, because all these things have interlinked, and they just don't come by practice, and you have to do a lot of work around, uh, and you need to definitely need to have the stuff in you, otherwise you will not be able to communicate confidently, and explain things. So during the interview process, definitely you need to have a right story for yourself. For that, you need to do a lot of projects. Otherwise, you can do a lot of certifications on your own, and you can do self-learning stuff, so that you will be able to attend the interview confidently.
Sure, Rahul, you have a question. You just ping me. We can take your question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So my question to you is, work from home is the trend that is being followed not only in the private sector, but also in the government sector. So what is your take on future working patterns?
So now it is not just work from home, and it's work from anywhere. That's what the things which was spoken in the previous session. It has its own merits and demerits, but analysis says that people are able to work more efficiently even if they're at working from home. Definitely, there are a lot of challenges, because the setup what we have in India may not be um, may not be we never anticipated, right, this particular situation. um, and we have a lot of enablement related issues, including, I was telling you, so a lot of issues when you say that um, how do we dispatch these systems to the employees, and if they have a system, do they have a right internet? Because all of us, some of you, even I'm working from home, and I live in a small village here, and I still have the same kind of a problem that every other person has, that may it an electricity problem, may it network problem, may it data related problems. So all these things are now people started aligning themselves and getting the enablements required. But definitely, being it becomes a new normal, it is not a very tough thing that we are the most flexible and adaptable people, so that we should be able to overcome. That's not a problem at all.
So something on project, Mr. Priyank Rai, he wanted to know that we commonly project is something mentioned in the CV. So how projects play a role in the employability, and to know more about us to a fresher. So your any comments on that, sir?
Definitely. If I see a project in a CV, I'll definitely, being an interviewer, I would get excited, because um, that's where something which I would like to understand more about it, because project means you spend some time in it, and with complete involvement. Definitely, you should put your project if you have done something good. That is a common thing. These all days, if you look at, um, uh, you know, the common question in an interview, tell me about you something. So it is not a stupid question actually. If you ask me, that particular simple question will establish a great connect between both the individuals. And being an interviewer, it is an opportunity to put a very easy question and a very relevant question to the interviewee, so that other person can open up and start conveying and start interacting with the interviewer. And even for an interview, the person who's giving the interview also, it's a great opportunity when they get the question, so that they can establish a right credibility by letting all the good things being done about by the person. So this project is something very good that you can explain, and if it's a real-time project and you have involved in it, definitely you should be able to explain your project that establishes a great credibility on your work that you have done. And so, if somebody evaluates you and selects you or rejects you within that half an hour time, the panels have been trained a certain way, so that the way you answer the question, the way you explain the projects, they will be able to judge. Um, that's where they've been given that authority to select you or reject. So you need to go with the right story and a great story for yourself. If you do not have one, please start working on now and start taking some nice projects on the current challenges that we are all going through, so that how you are giving a lot of solutioning in and around your challenges that you see. So that itself establish a great credibility for your resume and for individual.
So yes, it's being said, the best business deals are storytelling. So yes, your convicted storytelling with confidence creates brings an impression into the mind of recruiter. Very truly and rightly said. So a small question from Diksha is that internship is a new buzzword, and I have also is finding a lot of internship happening. Sometimes these internships are on technology, on what the engineers should do, and sometimes it is more on marketing and getting the work of startups to do. So how much internship, or is it the internship which matters, or the relevant internships which can help student to be a more better contendant for the job? So your comments on the internships and how relevant they should be with the job needs, sir. Sir.
Provided someone has a lot of time, and if the numbers are less, any employer would definitely prefer internship is one of the most effective way of recruiting individuals for their company, so that they will have a lot of time to evaluate uh, the candidate from uh, all the angles, in terms of their discipline, in terms of their attitude, in terms of their motivation levels, in terms of their communication, and in terms of their team working ability, in terms of their achievement orientation. So these are all the attributes that somebody looks at. So they will have a lot of time. So definitely internship is a great opportunity for employer to recruit a right candidate in that process. And during the internship, even for a candidate, um, so you get to learn a lot, because there's a project has been defined. There will be a project mentor or guide will be there, so that there is a interactive based learning will be there. So these essence will definitely make you a better individual. So that if you do an internship, definitely you will be able to you will be very confident in explaining about your project, because the process of learning is completely different than how you learn just online. So definitely internship adds a very great value to both the parties.
Thank you so much, sir. So, taking forward, we also there is a related question on internship with hiring. I think Lavandam has very well taken that. So, Lavandam, next quick question on how there has been some questions on this COVID situations, how the changes would be in the recruitment in general, and what could be the possible change in the recruitment pattern, and how students should take it. Like everything is going online is fine, but how are the plans of
It is
industry in
not
general?
understood. So it is not just because of COVID. These changes have been happening even before COVID. So if you look at, I've been in this recruitment, uh, uh, talent acquisition for last 15 years, and especially in fresher hiring for last 1 year, 10 years. In last 10 years, a lot of things have changed, even in the campus hiring process also. If you look at 2015, so most of us used to go to only campuses of their their respective accredited colleges. All the companies used to have their own accredited colleges, correct? So now, slowly in 2017 and 18, the new methods have come that, challenges. They used to release the challenge, and those who participate, and they used to recruit some portion through that, and then go to the traditionally to their accredited colleges, and they continue to hire from this. And also internship has come as one more channel. And so last year, a lot of companies have hired at least 60 to 65% of their workforce through the open challenges or common entrance test. And while they continue to go to some of the important and good colleges on campus. And this COVID-19 definitely may push most of the companies to go online and remote, remote way of virtual uh, hiring process methods that everybody may go. So definitely how you should be prepared. Yes, this is very important. How you should be prepared. That preparation is very important, because sometimes I get to hear from a lot of people for silly things that, this particular coding I've been habituated to do, give a solution through a different platform or compiler. So now you change the compiler, so I'm not able to give my you know compile my code properly. So these are very silly things that people get stuck there, because it's not about how you give a solution, it's about your logic. So if your logic is correct, people will definitely respect your output and the process you followed in terms of the solutioning part. So how you should be prepared? So you need to first understand what are all enablements that you require in order to face these virtual recruitment methods that companies would uh, come whenever they have a demand. So by the time you should be fully prepared. May it today how I am prepared today. I had to relocate myself from one place to one place in order to get a right network. Even I have bought a new mm, what is it one gadget, a new adapter and all these things, so that I feel that this particular meeting is very important for me. And so I represent very large forum. So initially I was having a lot of network related issues, but the additional connectors and all what I got helped me right now speaking to you all smoothly. So this is a preparation all about. Though, so similarly, if you have an interview, if it is very important for you, how well you will be prepared, right? So you definitely need to look at whether do you have a right network, do your system supports that particular test, uh, or the interview process, do you have enough data, will you have electricity backup, so that if you do not have, it's very important for you to go and tell your recruiter or whoever given you this opportunity, you need to tell them, alert them in well in advance, so that I have this 1 to 3 challenges. I would like to prefer to this take these kind of slots. So rather than after everything is over and you try to retrospect and if you try to reflect, they may not be able to accommodate, right? So you need to be prepared for all these things from the technology point of view. And also when it comes to the preparing for the process, it's not just don't always prepare for a company specific. You should be prepared for what is that you wanted to pursue. the common attributes you need to look at. You need to improve your logic. You need to improve your maybe a communication skills. You need to how to um, convey your how to articulate your project work. A lot of people uh, they write projects and good projects, but they will not be able to explain your projects properly. So these preparation along with the technology side and enablement side and as an individual side, all the three angles you have to be prepared well.
So one question which is coming up related, Shivansh and Akshay Sinha, on their work. A lot of times students mention technologies in their CV. So how much depth of technology they should have, and is it right to mention technologies just as it is, or if unless they are specialist on this? So we will take this prop question on the CV on students mentioning their skill areas. So is it that they should be an expert in those skill areas to mention, or a generic one also can be mentioned, sir?
So I would so because we're getting into a lot of definitely a transactional questions, but I must address this because CV that you have to mention everything that has to be correct. So whenever you are preparing a CV, it has to be genuinely correct. If you know and what level, you must know that. If somebody says that I know about artificial intelligence, for suppose, you must know at least 60-70%. You should have done some groundwork and at least done some kind of a mm, study. It's not just knowing about it. At least you need to know some kind of an application level, that where you can apply whatever you have learned. So don't just mention the entire languages which you know. So mention the languages or skills that you actually can apply on the ground. If the interviewer gives you a question saying that now I'm giving you this problem, just come out with a solution using this technology, then you will be stuck. So your resume need to reflect exactly what you know and what you are.
Very correct. So, Lavanam, a question which has come up from one of the faculty about research, and also I was very curious to know more about the research which you did, because even it is pertaining to the student fraternity. So, what can you just share the topic or the content of your research area, and the outcome which you could your research framework on nurturing the attributes in the classroom. So how what was the takeaway of that research? If you can share with students for its relevance, sir, please.
Great. Yes. So definitely, I will be happy to take this question. While I was looking at what it actually helped the students to get employed at the college level with the freshers. I have found all these attributes can be nurtured in the classroom, from the ground level, because somebody was asking that a lot of what are the skills we need to know to a college. Like, if LNCT is a college, definitely it's not that you are there to teach only Java, J2E, or C, C++ to the students if they're coming from computer science. Along with that, there are a lot of other attributes that get nurtured in that 4 years of the tenure that they spend in a college. Because you're not just a finishing school, right? Then otherwise they would have gone ahead and joined some online courses or some computer coaching center. Why would they need to come and join LNCT and work for study there for 4 years? Not only LNCT, and for that matter, a lot of other colleges. So when I looked at all these things in this 4 years or 3 years of period, definitely these all attributes can be nurtured by having an effective classroom. So with that, I have come out with a classroom culture, which is a interactive teaching learning methods that you can have it in that framework. So giving a certain responsibilities to the students and faculty and the academia need to be designed, and the amalgamation of all these responsibilities will will reflect into a right classroom culture. So what I have emphasized more in terms of for the teacher, rather than just teaching for the 45 minutes. So I always emphasize that reduce the teaching time and invest more time in asking questions and allowing the students to discuss on the topics that they have learned from that. Also, leveraging the technology is very important. I have given certain responsibilities to the academia, that is course, that is in terms of curriculum, how they can reduce the curriculum and uh, they can reduce the teaching time and invest more time in the reflections and measure the performance of each student. So, so I can speak for hours if you give me, but I know we have keeping the interest of time. The interactive teaching learning method will answer most of these questions around employability, so that students get an opportunity to develop themselves from all the angles, made content, made confidence, made communication skills. All the three C's can be nurtured through the effective classroom culture. So that was my
So great.
finding, and we should stop.
Yeah. Yes. So we definitely are looking forward very soon. The Career Pathshala and all of us, we hope that the next time when you come, and I'm very glad to hear that it's almost on the submission. So we'll be having Dr. Lavannam Ambala very soon, and that is something. Just imagine as an industry, as a corporate leader, a recruiter going to colleges, thought of adding some education value to him, a great thought of and the respect he has for the academia, and in this very tight schedule, it was really when everything is changing. He has been a constant support and our advisor to corporate Pathshala. The research and the type of inputs he has brought about will definitely uh, bring a positive change to the employability and the classroom teaching methodologies. So we have a good number of comments coming from the placement fraternity also, and who wish and who pray that for your health and your family, for everyone at Wipro in the state of Madhya Pradesh and in the country. Wipro has been a forerunner in fresher hiring, and a company, the founders of the company who has inspired people not only in this country but across. And we are really blessed to start our career Pathshala with Lavanam, and he's not only just from the student point of view a great company to work, a person who has, I have met Lavanam, and a lot of transport transformative things he has brought about to the academic institutions, giving a opportunity for all. And the Talent Next program, which Wipro has been running, has been one of the exceptional for colleges to get their faculties trained in Java and then other languages, and also ensuring that goes to the students. So a lot of student and faculty and academia has been uh, blessed by the interface you have been continuously providing as a feedback. People who are here will definitely in times to come, maybe you would be on a Skype interview with Lavanam, taking your interview as a final call. He is always there. If he's finding short of recruiters available, he says, okay, give me the line, or I'll be there. So Rahul, your comments as a 2021 fresher from computer science, looking forward to get a job, and finally I will take your comments of thanking Lavanam sir, and then we'll take final comments from Lavanam sir, and then we sign off. Yes, Rahul, you want to add something?
Thank you so much, sir, for answering the questions. We will definitely implement all these values in our lives and to our preparation. It was a great opportunity for me to be on the dream panel one could ever imagine.
So it was also an idea with Lavanam brought up here, why don't we bring some students and have some discussion around. So your presence is important, Rahul, and Rahul represents the youth of the country, and the future holds for you. So your
So thank
final comments and blessings to your own career, Parshala Lavanam sir. We are indeed privileged and so delighted to have you here. And you were patiently hearing Anand sir, and definitely everything was something you was getting into your mind. And now we would not only would like to say goodbye to you, but we will request your presence again and again in with your visual presence and your ideas to take this forward. Of your final comments and blessings for all the students who across country who's listening to you, and probably they will come back and listen you in the recorded session also. Lavandam sir.
Sure. Thanks, Anuj, for all the good words. I'm sure this is a great event, and as I mentioned, um, definitely the lot of sessions you have organized. I have seen your calendar, very useful sessions, and with a lot of industry experts. And I also suggested you that take suggestions from the students, that which are the sessions they would like to know, so that we can see how we can enable by connecting with our known connects, so that our career Pathshala can be more effective and more efficient. And I congratulate you and the team, and your team and the Gopal chapter for having this event very successful. I'm sure this will run in a more successful way, and I thank all the people that were listening to me patiently and giving me this opportunity to talk to you and interact with you. And I wish all the fresh graduates and other people who are looking for the great opportunities in the coming days. Definitely, I wish them good luck, uh, and also I wish everybody stay safe and stay healthy.
Sure, sir. So, with those words, we had a great the day one session of Career Pathshala. The viewers across the country, from Srinagar to Chennai, from Ahmedabad to Nagaland, and lot of sound coming from Madhya Pradesh. We are definitely committed, and we try in our endeavors to bring the best of the career options. So we will definitely be trying, and I have also commented to please give your suggestions on careerpathshala2020 at gmail.com. There will be a daily quiz also after this session. Will be a live quiz, and we would like more students like Rahul to join the panel. And your active participation in the quiz would be a key. And students from any part of the country can join in. And we hope and wish a very great career for you. You, the youth, can bring the change which our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji has, and a lot of great leaders of India have thought for the future. So the future holds in your hand, and I really express my gratitude and deep satisfaction of having people like Lavanam and giving so much time. I really thank you from the bottom of heart, and thank you all, sir. And it has been great to have you. Thank you, Rahul, for being here. And signing off for Career Pathshala. We'll be coming back tomorrow at 11 a.m. on resume writing and facing interviews by a session by TCS. So thank you, Lavanam. And it has been a great day, a great start for Career Pathshala. The smile on Rahul speaks all about it. Thank you, Lavanam.
Good day to you
Thank you,
all.
sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.